Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, whenever you are. Welcome to a new DC live stream. I think I'm liking that intro, Sim.
Yeah, but I think the afternoon comes before the good evening. So it should be good morning, good afternoon, evening, good night.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, yeah, true. I'll remember that for next time.
Good,
Guys,
everyone.
you'll be happy to know that I had to I educated Wasim on the EPL teams after a week ago or 10 days ago. Where,
You did. I don't remember though.
you mixed up Man City with Man United, but that's okay. We'll forgive him.
That's
Guys,
right.
how about the market? Bitcoin is pumping. We're going to talk about that. We were expecting a 30 to 40% move. We talked about that inside of our Millionaire Club members update. It's like clockwork. I don't think this is the end of it. We might go higher, which is great. Things are looking quite bullish, even though we've got some bearish news, which we will cover in today's market and news update. So without further ado, Mr. Wasim, are you ready?
I definitely am. Let's get into the market update. So Cardano founder Charles Hoskinson has stated that he believes that blockchain technology will radically transform how governments operate. So in this article, in this interview with, I think he was being interviewed by Yahoo Finance, he speaks about the possibility that with blockchain technologies, we can actually digitize public assets, so things that are there for the greater good, so assets that are owned by the government, we can digitize them, then create businesses on top, which means that anybody in the community will be able, any citizen will be able to get on and have a look to see what kind of assets and what the government is doing. So this is quite a radical view by Charles, and I think it's a utopian view that he has, or an ideal that he has. I don't know whether we'll have something like that happening, but the possibility is there, and this is what we're seeing with a lot of countries that are adopting blockchain technology, especially those countries that are looking to get rid of corruption out of their systems. They're going to be looking at adopting these type of technologies to overcome corruption. Whether we see that in the West, I think time will only tell. Moving on, we have Panama protests continue despite fuel and food price cuts. So, we've been speaking about obviously the effects of inflation, and we're starting to see it here. In Panama, people are protesting because they get to the point where they can't afford fuel and they can't afford basic food, I should say. So, although the government has cut the price down of fuel to $3.95, under $4, which was a 24% reduction in the cost of fuel in the beginning since June, and they've frozen the prices of some basic foods. The people of Panama are not happy, and there's a lot of civil unrest. They even closed down one of the main highways out of Panama, and this is something that if we continue seeing inflation, and we're going to talk about this in the next story by Robert Kiyosaki, if we start seeing inflation going rampant and staying out of control, and people not able to afford basic necessities, we're going to start seeing civil unrest around the world. So this is just the first place we're starting to see it. Moving on to Mr. Robert Kiyosaki from Rich Dad Poor Dad, who has reiterated his position that he wants to buy Bitcoin at the bottom. Now, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I'm a fan of Rich Dad Poor Dad. I love his book. I think he's got some great knowledge. He's been talking about what's happening here. He spoke about Bitcoin. He spoke about the $24,000 bottom when Bitcoin was at 30. Then he spoke about a $9,000 bottom, and now he's talking about $1,100 Bitcoin bottom. Now, I don't know whether we'll get to the $1,100 Bitcoin. I mean, ideally, that would be great. We can all buy more and more Bitcoin, but it will have a major catastrophic effect on the crypto market. But Rich Dad Poor Dad is not talking just about Bitcoin. He's talking about stocks, commodities, real estate, and Bitcoin. He's talking about a big crash coming that we still haven't even got to yet. So I hope he's wrong, but he has proven to be correct so far in his in his predictions, and he actually speaks about that if inflation keeps happening the way it's happening right now in America, we're going to start seeing civil unrest in America. So he's definitely stocking up for something big to come. The only time will tell to see whether it's going to happen or not. Next one is a bit of a bullish news where we've got hedge fund billionaire Alan Howard continues to support cryptocurrency startups. So this is a 58-year-old billionaire in the UK who's continued to invest in cryptocurrencies because he understands the long-term prospects of crypto. And they speak about in this article that he's got a 10 to 15 year horizon when it comes to cryptocurrencies. He's invested over $10 million in a pre-seed round of crypto brand called ScienceMagic.studio. He's also invested $11 million in a seed round raise with a metaverse startup called Adams Lab. So he got into cryptocurrency back in 2017, 2018. During that bear market, he saw the long-term prospects of cryptocurrencies and he invested, and he's doing so now. This just shows that those in the know understand that even though short-term we are having a lot of blood in the streets, there's a lot of pain out there, they are still buying in. And this is why we as retail investors, what we should be doing, what we should be looking at is DCAing into good projects that we can afford. Obviously not financial advice, and obviously do your own research, and always only invest what you are willing and able to and can afford to lose. So keep an eye on that. Very, very bullish news there. Next one and the last one for the news highlights, we got Bitfinex, which is a cryptocurrency exchange. They are looking to donate $1.3 million of Bitcoin and USDT to communities in El Salvador. So what they've done is they're looking at donating 36 Bitcoin as well as 734,000 USDT tokens, and they are looking at giving that 36 Bitcoin valued at 734,000 and $600,000 worth of USDT that they are donating to those that are most in need in El Salvador. So as most of you should know by now, El Salvador was the first country to adopt Bitcoin as a Bitcoin standard. The country itself has bought over 2,000 Bitcoin, and they continue DCAing in, they continue buying. People in El Salvador adopting more and more crypto and Bitcoin as a payment gateway. And Bitfinex is now looking at donating at those that really, really need it to give them a boost so they can strengthen their economy. So there is some good news out there. And that is it from today's news highlights. I will pass it over to Matt for the Twitter highlights.
Thank you, Wasim. Well, today we, funnily enough, do not have a tweet from our good friend Peter Schiff, so we're going to start off with Will Clemente. So even if you thought BTC could go to 10K from current prices with a 2025 target of 180K, you're looking at a 1-to-9 risk reward ratio with a 50% potential downside, but 900% upside. Invest 1% of your portfolio, you're risking 0.5% with a 9% upside to your overall holdings. No brainer. So basically, the risk reward ratio is something that it's a fundamental analysis that we've actually talked about. We usually show that graph on Friday. So if you haven't yet seen that on Glassnode, check it out. Come on Friday's live stream and I'll show you that again. So basically, he's talking about how the bottom is close or already in. We're obviously on the back end of the bear cycle, and the ratio is what investors look at when putting in their positions. It's what gives investors their like an edge, and they normally look at longer term projections. So they look at monthly, quarterlies, and yearly performances on assets. They don't really trade short term charts, but they know right now that Bitcoin is at a fantastic price, and they're probably looking at getting in, which is really good. The more institutions that can get in, the more obviously upside we're going to see in Bitcoin, because they have the cash to move that price in the right direction. Moving over to Lark Davis, I'll be here when Bitcoin makes its next new all-time high. Will you? He's probably talking about, retail investors that maybe bought a little bit high. They're, shitty at themselves for, the poor investment. Maybe they've already sold taken that loss, and they're looking at possibly just never coming back to crypto because of the volatility. But those that have been around for a long period of time know that when we go up, we must come down. And right now, we're in a 1 in 4 year opportunity where we can buy cryptocurrencies at a cheap price, and obviously get ready for the next run. So, he's a long-term investor. He's been around for a long period of time, so he knows how the cycles work, much like what we do, and he has faith that it will recover, but he thinks that a lot of people don't feel the same way. Moving on to altcoin daily, you see crashing prices. I see opportunity. This is just the mindset of someone who's been in the market for a long period of time. We've talked to a lot of our clients. Obviously, we cater for a lot of beginners. A lot of beginners come and see us, understanding how to protect their cryptocurrency. We teach them security, all that type of stuff. But even if they purchase some crypto over the last 2 years, they're probably down on their investment. And, a lot of people obviously are fearful because they've never seen something so volatile crashing so hard. And whereas seasoned investors like myself, Wasim and Michael, we see this as opportunity. We've been around the block a few times, and we know that right now is an amazing time in the market. Moving along to Bitcoin archive. So just in, fear and greed index spent 72 days in extreme fear, the longest period ever. So basically, Bitcoin crashed from 69K to 20K. And during that time, we saw a big downtrend. But now what we're seeing is more stability. As we're getting lower, the dumps aren't as severe. So it's a great time to accumulate. And if we've talked about this on Fridays, that with the fear and greed index, they give you a bit of a graph. And we talked about how it's always important to buy during the orange periods and sell during the greed periods, because the greed is when we are in the bull run. People aren't taking enough profits. People think we're going to 1 million, myself included sometimes. And this is where, most of the whale investors, hey, if they're making 10%, which is better than, most of the assets that they hold, if they can make 10% profit, they're happy to just take that and walk away. Whereas I think retail investors, sometimes we're looking for life-changing stuff and we stay in the market too long and we don't take our profits. So now that we're exiting extreme fear and we're going back into the greed area, I mean, we've already sort of pumped 20% from the recent lows of 19,000. So, this is where a lot of people now start getting that euphoria back again. They're thinking, hey, we're going to go, to 30K, 40K. But, what goes up must come down. Don't FOMO into pumps, sell into pumps, buy in the dips, and rinse and repeat. Lastly, Didi Tahutu, what is the best Bitcoin Lightning wallet in your opinion? So basically, if you don't know what the Lightning network is, allows for quicker Bitcoin transactions and cheaper. Now, obviously, a lot of people don't know about the Lightning network. A lot of people also don't want to use it because at the end of the day, Bitcoin is a store of value. Why would you want to sell your Bitcoin unless you're trying to profit off it? You don't really want to spend it for a cup of coffee and something like that. So he talks about the Moon wallet, which is MWU's, and not W the letter, but UUN wallet, and the Blue wallet. So if you're someone that is interested in maybe utilizing the Lightning network, peer-to-peer transactions with maybe friends, maybe you're making a little bet with a friend and you want to pay in crypto or Bitcoin, maybe you don't want to be waiting 10 minutes sometimes for the blocks to clear. So you might decide to go with the Lightning network, which is a faster network. And a lot of people, especially developers, are looking to push Bitcoin in that direction. We want it to be faster in transaction, but because it's slow, that is what gives it its security, because the amount of blocks and hash required to obviously validate transactions. So at the end of the day, it's always good to have a different option. If you do want to spend your Bitcoin, I don't spend it. That being said, I did buy a car for 0.75 Bitcoin back in the day. Now that I look at the price, obviously the guy that I bought it off got a good deal off me, but this was at the height of the 2017 bull market. So at the time, was it 0.7? No, it was 0.17, which was $5,000 or something. But that 0.15 now is probably worth 10 times as much as what I purchased the car for. So joke's on me. At the end of the day, do not use your Bitcoin to buy anything. Alrighty, we're going to bring Wasim back in. We are now on to adoption highlights. Wasim, take it away.
Thank you very much, Matty. And again, a lot of great news in the adoption highlights, even though we are in a bear market and although we do have a bit of a pump at the moment, the adoption is not stopping. More and more countries, more and more places are looking at ways in which they can regulate or adopt Bitcoin currency. So first up, we have Paraguay, who now their Senate has approved a law governing cryptocurrency mining and trading. So they had this law put into, I think it's like the lower house, and now it's come back up to the upper house, and now it's going to go towards the it will be passed on. It will be passed with modifications, and now the Senate has approved this bill, meaning that anybody that wants to mine cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin in Paraguay, and there is a lot of crypto Bitcoin mining in Paraguay because of the cheap energy over there. So now they can apply for a special license where they can get more electricity, and it's all becoming more and more governed and allowing more and more cryptocurrencies to be mined over there. This is very bullish because more companies want and will flock towards these countries where they know they can work within the regulation. They know they're going to be safe. They're going to know they're doing the right thing. No one's going to knock on their doors and shut them down. And these countries will thrive in the long term because they're going to attract more talent. They're going to attract more investment into the country and prop up the country's economy. So well done, Paraguay, on that move. Next up, we've got a new report that has shown that 74% of Latin Americans prefer businesses that accept crypto. Now, as we've been talking about, as we've been saying this for a while now, Latin America is absolutely on fire right now with the amount of crypto adoption happening over there. You've got things like Brazil that has that has a lot of crypto adoption. We spoke about Nubank. We're going to also speak about in the next article about another wallet that's also available in Brazil that has a lot of adoption with crypto. So this is talking about, in this particular report, they found that 74% of Latin Americans actually want to do business with companies that accept cryptocurrencies, and about 50% of them have actually already used crypto to purchase new things. This is compared to 41% in Europe, where 41% of respondents from Europe said that they would prefer to transact with a company that accepts crypto. Also, what was worth noting was Latin Americans were more likely to use crypto to pay for products and services, while in Asia, it is more likely that Asians will buy crypto for more emotional benefits, such as sentimental values, or, like when they go buy a ticket to a certain event and they want to hold that as a sentimental value. So in Asia, it's more of a novelty where people want to hold it for emotional reasons, while in Latin America, more and more people are looking to use it for everyday businesses. And then in the middle between Latin America, which is obviously very, very bullish, and Europe, which is a bit more bearish than Latin America, you have Africa and the Middle East, where people there are now also starting to look at adopting more and more crypto for different reasons and different use cases. So it's happening, guys. I've said this before. The dominoes start falling. They'll start falling faster and bigger and bigger and bigger. Before we know it, in the next 5 to 10 years, we're all going to be using crypto at some level without even knowing it. Next up, we've got Cardano, Polygon, and ApeCoin now accessible in 5,800 digital currency machines. So CoinCloud announced an update to its crypto wallet, allowing the seamless use of about 60,000 Bitcoin ATMs and digital currency machines operating across the US and Brazil. Now, why is this huge? Because now they're allowing things like Cardano, Matic or Polygon, ApeCoin to be part of the over 40 different cryptocurrencies that are already available, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, and Shiba Inu. And what we're seeing here, there's over 78 million people who now have access to this wallet and can now access even more cryptocurrencies across Brazil. Now, if you don't know, Brazil is the largest Latin American country, and they are on fire with more and more adoption happening in that country every single week. And before we know it, as I said this before, Mexico and Brazil are probably in a race right now who's going to adopt Bitcoin first as a legal tender. I don't know, this is my own personal opinion, but if it does happen, it will be the first large country to adopt Bitcoin as legal tender, and that will be a monumental time in history. Moving forward, we've got MasterCard collaborates with the Indonesia cryptocurrency gateway to foster adoption. So in Malaysia, they have over 90 million people who are not who are unbanked. Okay, so we've spoken about cryptocurrency really opens up the possibility of financial inclusion. And I've said this before and I will say it again. United Nations Sustainability Goals, the number one goal on that list is to eradicate poverty. And to eradicate poverty, you need to have financial inclusion, which means people around the world who don't have access to basic banking services like you and I do, they need to be able to get access to those basic banking services. Now, we can't rely on the banks because they have no financial incentive to go and build the infrastructure and create the infrastructure for these people because they are already poor. And we all know that banks are only in it for one reason. They're in it to make money off our money. So these guys don't have a lot of money, so banks aren't incentivized to open up services for them. But cryptocurrency is overcoming that because anybody with a phone and an internet connection can have access to cryptocurrencies. So MasterCard is collaborating with a gateway, with a cryptocurrency gateway in Indonesia to allow more access for people in those that don't have access to financial services to be able to use crypto and a crypto MasterCard so they can spend their crypto, and all of a sudden they have access to world commerce. Lastly, users may now purchase a building in Canada using Bitcoin. So this is a Canadian real estate developer called Sky Blue Condo City Mirabel, and now they are starting to accept payments for condos in Canada using Bitcoin. So as of the 13th of July this year, they made a statement that now anybody who wants to buy one of their condos can pay for those condos using Bitcoin. I know that Matt had just told you guys not to spend your Bitcoin to buy things, and I agree with that. Bitcoin is going to go in the next 5 to 10 years to 500, even a million. Some people will say even more than that. So I personally wouldn't be spending my Bitcoin to buy things unless I know it's going to outgrow Bitcoin. And I don't know any asset class is going to outgrow Bitcoin. But the reality is there are people out there that have a lot of Bitcoin and they want to spend their Bitcoin and they're looking for ways to doing it. And this developer saw the opportunity, understood that by allowing payment for their apartments and their condos by crypto and by Bitcoin, they're going to open up to a whole new market. More and more companies are seeing this reality and are looking at adopting Bitcoin and crypto payments. And this is just more bullish news for what's here to come. When I read and see stuff like this, it makes me so excited for the next bull run, because if we're seeing this now in the bear market, what's going to happen in the bull market? And that's it for the adoption highlight today, Matty.
Thank you, Wasim. Alrighty, guys, we're going to move on to our last topic, which is market analysis. Alrighty, so Bitcoin has been in this sideways range what seems like forever, but basically since the 14th of June. So about a month now we've been going sideways. Now, we also can see that we're kind of in this ascending ascending triangle. So we've got the top of the triangle here, we've got the bottom or the diagonal edge of the Bitcoin, and we've kind of just been bouncing around here and looking to break out. Now, before we break out, are we possibly going to visit the point of control of this entire sideways range? And the point of control basically just means the area of this sideways range where Bitcoin has been traded the most, so the most amount of volume. And that point right now is at 20,500. So is Bitcoin maybe going to come back down to 20,500 before moving to the upside? That's obviously what I'm kind of maybe looking at. But if not, there's a high probability that we do break to the upside. And why is that? Why am I saying to the upside? Well, basically, Ethereum was in a similar sideways range, and you can see this Ethereum has absolutely pumped over the last couple of weeks. Since it performed its most recent low, it's already up about 50%, which is crazy in a bear market. There you go, 62% since this recent low. And usually what you tend to see is Ethereum leading the way before Bitcoin. And we see this sort of go back and forth sometimes during the bull and the bear market. And right now, obviously, Ethereum is leading the way. And because Ethereum has broken out of the sideways range, it kind of it gives Bitcoin a very high probability of doing the same. So right now, it's just a bit of a waiting game. Just how much lower does Bitcoin want to go before we go to the upside? But if I was to, if I was to give more of a, if I was to give you a decision, I think that Bitcoin is going to go up before we sort of come down any lower, just purely for the fact that Ethereum has broken out. So that's some good news right now. Obviously, our mirrored portfolio that we showcased a couple of weeks ago is doing quite well. If you are interested in learning, or if you are interested in following our trades, you would need to sign up to the 1K a day program. And I'm going to bring Wasim back in right now to talk about the 1K a day, because we do have a special on it, but that special is drying up, I think, this month. Is that correct, Wasim? We currently have 2 months free when you sign up, but that's going to 1 month.
Yeah, that's correct, guys. So we have our passive income workshop happening next week on I think it's Tuesday, Wednesday. So just check out the link, breakoutnow.co/1K a day. And this will be the last time where we are going to be giving away 2 months free access to this program. So it's completely risk-free. Come check out what's included. Come check out why you need to be involved, and why now is the best time to get into cryptocurrencies, so you can set yourself up for not just yourself, but for your family, and your children, your children's children. So come and join us. This is the last time we're going to offer 2 months free. After that, we're going down to 1 month, and the monthly membership will be going up. So jump in now, guys. Get your links, register for the event, and we will see you guys next week. And Matt will be showing you guys, or I'll be showing you, depending on whether Matt's going to be there or not, but we'll definitely be showing you what we've done so far with our our mirrored portfolio. And this is a portfolio where you guys have to do almost nothing. You set it up, you follow what we're doing, and you've got Matt and his professional and years of experience trading crypto. He's been through 2 bear markets, understands how the trends work, and all that he's doing for you is accumulating more and more and more Bitcoin. And at the end of the day, the goal is to stack stats. So you want to be able to stack sats and be able to get more and more Bitcoin, and that's what we're doing here for you guys. So come join us next week.
That's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching today's live stream. Please join us on Friday for our last live stream of the week. And apart from that, that's it from us.
Before you go, Matt, one last thing. Those of you guys in Brisbane, we are coming to Brisbane next Sunday, the 31st of July. The Aussie Crypto Roadshow. I was on a Twitter Spaces with them last night. There's a lot of excitement. There's a lot of really, really cool stuff. Some amazing NFT projects coming to showcase what they're doing. We're going to be there. We're going to be on stage. We're going to be giving away some prizes. So if you haven't registered, first 20 tickets will get free access. So Break 100 is the code. Go to AussieCryptoRoadshow.com, and we would love to see you all there.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you on Friday. Bye for now.